I like it. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Awesome. Does everybody know who Laura is? This is Laura. She's the one that helps drive all this stuff, so let's thank her. She was just telling me all the things I need to be saying, not to forget. So please ensure that you do not bring any drinks down to this area and this section. Keep them upstairs. As well as we do need to notify everybody that we are filming, and you may or may not be associated to that, but the filming is generally in this direction, and there will be some crowd shots, but just keep that in mind. If you need to be incognito, I guess you can hide in the back corner, but hopefully everybody's cool with that, so thank you. Okay, so welcome everybody to pitchitTOcityhall. This is our 47th event, and we're excited as always to be here. We're always excited to be working with the startup community and helping you guys get exposure in front of not only angel and business people, but to the whole startup community. So welcome to all you guys, and thank you for the support and coming out. So let's get some energy. So round of applause for you guys. So today we've changed things up a little bit. We're going to have two companies that are going to be doing a regular pitch for the 7-minute pitch with Q&A and analysis back from the panel, and then Q&A from you guys. And then we've changed it by including 3 2-minute pitches. And this is because we're trying to bring in as much volume of great startups to give you guys a good idea of the community and trying to bring as many people to the front stage. And I think that could be helpful. So we're excited to make this little alteration in our planning. We'll be having a keynote from Vinay. He's going to be speaking today. And then we will jump into our panel, which will be made up of the 3 people off the panel today. As I mentioned on the food and the video, we're good there, so the housekeeping's done. On a little bit of feedback on kind of what we do, so at OPN, we are all about working and helping startups. We've been doing this for just over 3 years, or close to 3 years. And the whole principle behind it was we wanted to find a way to give back to the community, help tie it together by utilizing business pitches as a way to connect with angel investors. And hopefully, so far, we've been pretty good at helping accommodate and push startups through the ecosystem. We're made up of 3 sides of the business, which is our pitch events. We work out of Seneca College, which is... Oh, there's no mic there. Shit. Sorry. Chris Dudley from Seneca College was one of our partners, and I thought there was a mic, which I guess I can't see that far apparently, has come today, and I just wanted to point him out because, one, he's an awesome gentleman who's running a lot of the innovation throughout Seneca College, but also a supporter of what we do at OPN. So big round of applause for Chris Dudley. So we have a few other partners that help tie this all together, and we'll jump into that as well. But the whole principle was that we wanted to get and tie into many places. So the other one is Durham College. We work with them. Y-Space, and we run our events throughout their facilities every quarter. So that happens 4 times a year, which is very exciting. And then City Hall we do every 2 months. And we've now implemented a new project, if you will. It's called Skip the Line. And this was a way to help us build more impact into the community yet again, and by helping speed up the investment side. And since we couldn't figure out how to fix the back end, which was ensure that deep dive and all that information gathering would be faster, we thought, well, can we speed up the front end by bringing the angel groups into one room and having the startups come in and pitch and do a pre-screening. So we have this event running on Wednesday, and we try to tie all this together so that when startups come through to us, we're able to work with them, get them pitching it the first time at one of the other spaces like Y-Space or Seneca, and then get them into City Hall, and then get them into Skip the Line when they're ready to get investment. So it's a great little funnel to help the startup work their way through, get experience, and also build relationships with the angels. And the third piece, or the second piece, is we have a mini accelerator which we've tied in with our partners, which are Miller Thompson, Bateman and McKay from accounting, Hardboot, which is my software company, Igor from One Core Media, and we tie these companies in to help the startup, again, work their way through from an early stage business into growing their business. And the third part is we've tied together with a fund. So we went out to the angel community investors and said, hey, why don't we raise some money so that we can get more into the community and invest into some of these companies. And to date, we have invested into 17 companies through our first fund. And we're now opening up our second round. So that's OPN in a nutshell. Some of the upcoming dates that we have, notably on this Wednesday, we have our Skip the Line. And then we have Pitch It York on the 27th. So if anybody in the room is interested in getting a warm-up pitch in, please feel free to send us an email and we will jump on that to figure out how to work with you guys to get you through and pitching. And then our next major milestone would be OPN and Fireside. Has anybody heard of Fireside? Well, we need more people to hear about Fireside. So Fireside is an amazing event that has been running for the last 4 years. It's just outside of Bob Cajun. It is in, what's that? Bancroft. Sorry, Bob Cajun. I guess they're close, aren't they? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, yes, okay. Then 3 hours away, something to that effect. But at Fireside, it's all about entrepreneurs. And it's 3 days, 4 days now where your mobile phone is not needed, not used, but you can network and meet a lot of startups and a lot of people. You stay in I guess it's not a campsite, it's more of a login area, I guess. There's a couple of dormitories that fit probably 20 people per dorm, and it's a lot of fun. Fire talk, a lot of events, all that good stuff. So we partnered with them to help you guys get there faster and at a more affordable rate. So if you're looking to do something like that, feel free to reach out again and we can help you along. So some of the great things that we've done and companies that we've worked with over the better part of the last 3 years. You can see many companies up here. I think there's probably 150 little logos on there. So all the different ones that have gone through. As I mentioned, 47 events, and they all vary in size and caliber of what we're doing. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to find the best startups to come in and pitch in front of you guys. In the showcase today, these are the companies that are working in the showcase, so if you haven't get to see them, please make your way upstairs after and go and speak with one of the startups. Help support a startup. And we wouldn't be here today if we didn't have all of our great sponsors. So the City of Toronto, Startup Toronto, Global Payments, which is Sean. Where's Sean? I saw Sean. There's Sean right there from Global Payments. All or Nothing Brewery, which is upstairs, New Track Media, Mindful, Flow Water, Vibe, System Bind on the hardware side, Bateman McKay, One Core Media, and Miller Thompson. So let's give those guys all a hand for all their help. So now we jump into the best part, and I might actually have to pull out some notes just to make sure that I don't miss any of the good details. So first I'm going to introduce is Jess Joss. And I implore everybody to ensure that they trap Jess at some point tonight and speak to her or grab a hug. She's awesome. And we should all give her a congratulations because she's now heading up and running GTAN Angel Investment Groups, which is pretty sick. Awesome job, awesome job. Jess is a big fan of Fireside and a huge supporter of the startup community, so she's spent a lot of time investing and working in the startup community, and it's been a pleasure to know her for many years, and thank you for always the support and coming out. Next we have Andrea Lowen. Andrea has been a longtime friend, business mentor, you name it, all of it. Yeah, I know, it sounds good. You did everything. We started our businesses a long time ago together, and she has spent a lot of time in corporate world, from AOL to, what's the PayPal, which is the last one. I should remember that. And now she runs two of her own companies and one of her business partners here. And they're a global business, so they do a lot of great creative work in the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands around. So there's lots of great things. So you want to speak to her if you're looking at how to expand your business into other areas. So thank you, Andrea, for coming out. Yeah. Next is Paul. Paul works with the City of Toronto, so we do have to say thank you, Paul, for all of what you have done for the community. Paul runs anything and everything to do with the startup world, and he has spent the last 8 years as being a politician and has moved his way into working in this role to support startups. So I'm a big fan because he supports us and we get to work with Paul. So he's a good guy. He likes long walks on the beach. I told him I was going to say that. But at the end of the day, Paul, thank you very much for all your support and help what you do with the startup community. And again, if anybody's looking for anything to do with the city, Paul's your guy. Thank you. Next, we have Angelo Del Duca. Angelo is an angel investor in multiple regions from York, Spark, Maple Leaf. He's a big supporter of what we do at OPN. We've been good friends and worked together quite closely. He was Angel of the Year in, what year was that, Angelo? 1950. So he's been carrying his weight a long time. Angel of the Year, and he's a big fan of startups as well. He works a lot of time in it, made a lot of investments, and he spent the better part of his career from leaving startup world. After exiting a long time ago, he went into the world of government and startup funding with the OCE, and today he's been spending the last few years working with startups in the angel world. So thank you very much, Angelo, for all of your commitments and help too. Next we have Mark Saltzman, and if you guys don't know who Mark has been a journalist for the better part of the last 30 years. He's a tech expert, runs multiple shows. I was a huge fan. I told him a story when I reached out to him that I walked by him one day in the street. I ran back. I was on a conference call. I couldn't talk, but I decided that I needed to give this guy my card because I thought he was the coolest guy. He still is cool. And I handed him my card. He just hit this look because I was like, can't talk, just take my card. And I don't think that's the best sales tactic. You probably don't want to do that. But either way, Mark has spent a lot of time in the tech world, and he's done millions of videos, and they're all related to helping dull down how tech works into the layman terms to help us get through technology. So I'm a big fan, Mark, and thank you very much for coming out tonight. So the startups that are going to be pitching tonight, we have Parachute, New Vote, Minibox, Wavy, and Smart Tones. So we're pretty excited to see you guys, and you guys will be coming up very shortly. So the team. I'm an angel investor in multiple regions, own a software company, and OPN. The rest of it you guys can look up on LinkedIn. The team, Laura, you guys met Laura. She is the driving force behind everything we do. She's awesome. She's at the top. And we have Brian, who's on the cameras over here, taking care of all the footage. And at the top, we have Mike Sims, my old buddy that is helping us run all the music. So thank you very much, guys, for all your help. And all the volunteers that have helped us tonight, too, thank you. So, why we're all here, we're going to have two companies pitch, 7 minutes. They will then receive 1 minute of feedback from 3 of the advising panel, and then we will do 5 minutes of Q&A from the crowd. If you have a question, please put your hand up, and I will make my way there with the microphone. Keep your questions straightforward, and if you can, say your name prior, just so that everybody will know who you are when you ask the question. Then we will have 2-minute pitches, which will be 3 companies, and we will receive 2 of the advisory panel will provide feedback. There won't be any Q&A from the crowd, and we will go from there. So without further ado, we are going to introduce Vinay. I don't know if he's, I haven't seen him close by. Vinay, where is he? Oh, right there, buddy. Come on up. You're up, man. Let's have a round for him. What's that? Oh, you're good to go.
An hour or so?
Yeah.
15?
No, you're
Okay.
good to go. You're going to use this?
Is thing working? Good afternoon. So normally when I'm a keynote speaker, I'm usually talking for like an hour, but I think things move very fast here. So I'm going to keep with that theme. This is a quick snapshot into tax smart investing as an angel investor. And in the case you're not an investor, but rather than an investee, you should have an appreciation, at least at a very high level, how to differentiate raising funds for your company versus, let's say, a public company. What special opportunities can you provide your investors that, let's say, my investment in TELUS cannot? So let's get right into the structure of investments. Can't even see what's going on here. Okay, so I've been an angel myself, part of another group, and my partner's part of OPN. And too often we see these deals get put together. There's a term sheet out there, and the deal happens very, very, very quickly. Legals are being provided, and the only time many angel investors give any thought in terms of the structure to their investment is at the time they're filling out the subscription form. And it's then often too late. They're just scrambling. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? They call their accountant, and if they even do that, and it's often too late, and they're just put down a name. Sometimes their name, sometimes their spouses, as the case may be. But there are options. Individual, should I invest as myself personally? Perhaps a corporation, perhaps a trust, or a partnership. Those are the four structures that are available to invest in. And there's numerous variables in making that determination. So what's your personal versus corporate tax rate if you have a company? What's happened in your life in the past? Have you made money? Have you lost money? Have you used something called the capital gains exemption? At a high level, what the capital gains exemption is one of the few gifts in the Income Tax Act that allow you to sell shares of a small business, like a potential investee here, and realize gains of up to $867,000 tax-free. That's indexed to inflation. So have you used it before? And what about my family? What are their tax rates? And have they used their capital gains exemptions? Are there tax planning opportunities there? What about, how much am I talking about? What am I investing in? Is it worth pursuing any type of tax planning solution? Cost versus benefit and complexity. And then, of course, you have to look at the underlying nature of the investment. So if it's debt, warrants, convertibles, there's no limit to what's out there on the investment side. But each different investment solution has pros and cons from a tax perspective that you have to be wary of. So talking about the options again, in terms of do you invest individually? Well, why would I invest as myself, Vinay? Well, this is often the default, and it's simple. I don't have to put any thought to it. And if I haven't used my capital gains exemption on exit, of the investment. Hopefully, it's a successful one that OPN put together. I may not have to pay much tax on the sale. And then on the flip side, if the investment fails, it might be easier for me to take advantage of the resulting loss as an individual. And in the case of small businesses in Canada, there's a special type of loss that you may be able to obtain that could offset future income, like employment income even. Whereas if I lose money in TELUS, typically those losses are I can just utilize them against future gains, capital gains, not against employment income or to save tax that way. But then on the downside of investing as an individual, I can't income split with my family members, and that can be fairly significant. And also, how did I invest in as an individual? Well, I earned $1. I paid up to 53 cents of tax, so I had 47 cents to invest. In other words, when I invest as an individual, I'm using high after-tax dollars. So for me to invest $1 into an angel company, I have to earn roughly $2. So that's a perfect segue into the corporate side, corporate investing. Well, I'll just backtrack one more issue about investing as an individual. There's no estate planning there. If I die and that angel investment I made that I put $10,000 into and it's now worth $1 million, my heirs have to pay that capital gain of $990,000. And there may not be liquidity to deal with that capital gain. So that's a real challenge when you think long-term when it comes to angel investing and the potential estate tax implications. So which brings me to the other structure being corporation. Well, why do people use corporations to invest? Well, the main reason, in my experience, is they have an active business otherwise, that they're paying between 13.5% and 26% tax, which compares very favorably to 50% tax rate or 53% tax rate in Ontario. So they've got cheaper after-tax dollars to make that angel investment. So if they earn $1 and they pay 13 cents of tax, 14 cents of tax at the corporate level, they now have 87 cents, 86.5 cents to play with to invest. So it's very attractive for business owners to make angel investments through a corporate structure as opposed to personally. However, on the flip side, there's no capital gains exemption. So if they sell, the company's overall tax rate between corporate and individual at the top rate is 25%. And it's, again, very, very difficult to access your capital gains exemption if you used a corporation. That being said, we've had angel situations where the company investing is a significant investor and owns more than 10% of the shares. So we can come up with a nice creative structure where they can use corporate tax dollars and potentially even then take advantage of their capital gains exemption on exit. But it requires creativity, and you normally have to set aside those kind of structures in the case of more significant investors that are key to the growth of the company. So the other structure I referred to was a trust, a family trust. How am I doing for time, Jeff? 2 minutes. Okay. So a trust, that's an informal legal relationship between beneficiaries and a settlor and trustees. So trustees manage property on behalf of the beneficiaries. So why do people use family trusts? Well, in the case of angel investments, I spoke about the capital gains exemption if I invest personally, but if I have a trust, let's say with my wife and kids as beneficiaries, we can multiply that capital gains exemption. So instead of me realizing $867,000 of capital gains tax-free, I can now realize $867,000 times 3 tax-free, so over $2.5 million. Also, from an estate planning perspective, if I die, the trust lives on. I'm not subject to any estate tax, which is very important, again, due to the illiquid nature of angel investments. Depending if I structure properly and if the angel investment pays dividends in the future, I may have the ability to income split with my family. So what income splitting means is instead of me receiving income and paying tax at the top marginal tax rate, perhaps my spouse or children who may be in lower tax rates, they pay the tax. So you can usually save about $14,000, $15,000 per annum per taxpayer if you work the math properly and have a nice tax-effective income splitting structure. So why would you not do a trust? Well, it is more complex. There's increased amounts of tax compliance. It's another entity in your chart subject to CRA audit. There is some loss of control over the assets held by the trust. Often that's a perceived loss of control, but there's still some loss of control because I don't own it. This kind of trust does now. Like me investing individually, I'm investing with high after-tax dollars. So for me to capitalize my family trust, I would have had to pay full personal tax rate before putting money into the trust. So what's the right structure? Well, it depends. You have to look at the key variables, look at your personal facts and circumstances, and see what makes sense for you given where you are. And that's probably a 5-hour presentation in 10 minutes.
Vinay, thank you very much. That was awesome, and thank you for jumping in that quickly. Appreciate it. So I guess if we look at it, the key point to that is that if you guys are interested in becoming angel investors, which we're hoping one day you all will want to become investors, because the community does and cries for always more people to jump into the investment community, that you need to speak with someone like Vinay from Bateman & Kay, who has the experience of being an angel investor, but also understands the tax implications. So something to think about when you start to move that direction if you're not already. So thank you very much. Next up, we have our first pitch, which is Parachute. Let's hear it for them.
This one. Check. Good. Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Potters. I'm the CEO of ParachuteCoffee.com. This is Yahya beside me, our COO. We're thrilled to be here. Thank you so much, JP. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Tim, also one of our investors here who made the journey from Mississauga to join us tonight. Thank you, Tim. So we're going to get right to it. We have 7 minutes, so we're going to try as hard as we can to introduce you to the world of Parachute Coffee, and hopefully we can meet some of you afterwards. It's very hard to see this. Maybe I'll just go through this. I'm just going to use my voice. Can everyone hear me if I just do like this? Can you hear me now? Perfect. So what is our TAM? We are targeting the North American home coffee market. offering the hipster coffee experience at home. The important part of this slide is that 1 in 5 cups of coffee is consumed at home. $15.6 billion of the $75 billion overall TAM in North America is represented in the home. Can you go back? One more. So what are our major achievements since launch? So our ARR last year, the last 12 months was 130K. Our projected ARR next 12 months is 300K, and we've experienced 30% month-over-month growth in 2019. There have been 3 major initiatives over that last period. First, we've built our e-commerce product and award-winning packaging. Second, we've doubled our team to 6 members. 4 of us total are here tonight. You'll meet Taylor, who's upstairs, and Jake at the booth. And we've raised $650K in pre-seed financing. So why are we here? We've opened a $200,000 bridge at a $3 million valuation to invest on acquisition, retention, and accelerate growth. This will bridge us to our seed round, which we aim to open at the end of 2019. So let's explain a bit about what Parachute Coffee is. What are we good at? What is hipster coffee? Let's start there. So hipster coffee is 4 things. It's the grade, it's a curated product, it's a personalized experience. You can go to the next one. And demand for hipster coffee is indeed growing very fast. As consumer preferences have shifted away from stale retail brands to fresh hipster coffee, and many of you have probably experienced hipster coffee yourselves. The cafes you've seen along Queen Street are a good representation of this. The issue is that it's not available in the home very easily. 97% of the hipster coffee market drink coffee at home, and 63% of those customers that are drinking specialty or hipster grade coffee believe the quality of what they're drinking at home is substandard to the quality they consume at those same hipster cafes. So what is Parachute Coffee? Parachute Coffee is the direct-to-consumer subscription solution for better coffee at home. And it's represented by 3 pillars: product, experience, and brand. And the opportunity is to build a $1 billion direct-to-consumer subscription coffee brand and win the coffee consumer at home. And our go-to-market is Canada. These are a few customer testimonials. I'm going to skip this, of course, because we don't have much time, but you can see this on our website. The reviews are glowing. We are very proud of the experience that we've built, and our customers praise us for it, and we're glad we can continue to deliver that experience to them. The product is high grade. We roast in small batches, and it's shipped to your door within 48 hours. We own the roast profile, and we consider it to be a mastered product. Every single coffee that goes from our roaster is scored above an 85 and is roasted and shipped on the same day. We make the home coffee ritual memorable with award-winning innovative product packaging. You'll be able to see this upstairs if you come by our booth. This was designed with intention. The ripcord is fully functional and actually opens up the bag. It's meant to be a very memorable and shareable experience on social. And it's all wrapped up in a very beautiful box. We have an opportunity for storytelling every single time that our customer receives our product in their mailbox, which we achieve through the insert. And we have 3 different SKUs for 3 different segments: the limited edition, which changes every month, the medium roast, and the dark roast, which are consistent blends of a Brazil and a Guatemalan coffee. We make it easy to create a personalized subscription. So this is where customization and control come in very important for the user. The user has the ability to manage their subscription on the back end through our dashboard, the ability to change variety, manage the subscription, and change the frequency and volume so that they always have the optimal amount of coffee on their schedule when they want it at their door. And we're uniquely positioned to compete and grow. Amazon being the elephant in the room, they simply can't deliver on a mastered product because it's been sitting in a warehouse for 6 to 8 months. There's very little control over the subscription, and there is no iconic fresh coffee brand on Amazon. The only other competition that we see currently is Blue Bottle, operating out of Oakland, California. The challenge for Blue Bottle is that they can't get across the border, which is where we know we can win. And the plans for the use of investment financing. Over the last 6 months, we've stabilized our operations. We've perfected our product, and our channels are ready to scale. So in terms of what the investment finance will be used towards, 25% towards our product and tech. There's a 25% company burn, and then 50% of that raise will go towards aggressive acquisition and making sure that all of our channels are operating at full steam. This is the team, our co-founders. Jake is our CCO, former agency guy, spent many years at Leo Burnett, worked on brands like P&G, Kellogg's, Kraft, TD. He's the architect of the brand. Yahya, who I just introduced you to, former Googler, also spent a great deal of time at P&G. So he has an enormous amount of experience in CPG and brand. And then myself, Mars alumni, and as Yahya likes to say, the coffee guy. The expert. The expert. So as I mentioned off the top, we're thrilled to be supported and championed by many investors, including some in the room, many of whom also act as advisors to our company. And that is the entire presentation. So thank you for listening. If you get a chance, please, when you're upstairs, if there's any coffee left, we'd love to share it with you. And make sure to grab an insert on your way out. Everyone in the room can use that insert to $5 off their first airdrop, we call them, to your front door. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so panel, who would like to jump in? Angelo?
I'm shy. But,
Well, you get to kick us off, so.
okay. Great presentation, Michael. Loved it. I think it would be good to even further emphasize the knowledge, the expertise that you have. Knowing you, I know you're a coffee sommelier, I believe is the correct term. So I would emphasize that. Some feedback. Now, you talked about the ask and the valuation. Didn't get a sense of the investment instrument, so it would be good to highlight that. One other area in looking at your roadmap, right now you're an online business. What are your plans on going retail to further scale the business opportunity? Love the customization. And one last thing, you guys are amazing, but one thing I really like to see is your exit strategy and how am I going to make my money back.
So should we address his question?
Okay, who's up? Who else wants to jump in? Andrea.
Sure, gotta turn my mic on first. There's all these fun buttons. I feel like one should be the panic button, like, or like.
That's what the red one is.
Yeah, right. So I've seen you guys pitch once before, and I thought you did a great job as usual. You got partway through the presentation, I think it was slide 7, and slide 7 was where I really started to get excited. So I almost would switch the order of your presentation to do a little bit more storytelling. So where you have your problem and solution, like people really want awesome coffee, but most people are drinking coffee at home. I think you can drive that home, and even if you're presenting to people who are maybe not professional angel investors yet, if they are coffee drinkers, and to Angela's point, like you have an incredible background in coffee, I think you're going to get a lot of investors that are excited consumers and not necessarily maybe angel investors. So I would maybe switch that around a little bit more and use some of the data that you have to entice me with a really cool story behind the thing. And then from the stats perspective, maybe this is my nerdy e-commerce personality coming out, but I would like to see things like your average order value and just like maybe how many orders or what's your like average lifetime value for the customer and how many months are they sticking with you, or are they increasing or decreasing? So just some of that to show that I liked the testimonials, but maybe the data behind the testimonials, like not only are they excited and they're taking these mug shots and things like that, but they're voting with their money. So I would just add those stats in. But as always, really cool brand. I love the ripcord. And if I drank more coffee, I would definitely be ordering. Or any coffee. Yeah, maybe.
0 to 1 is a big
Yeah,
jump.
exactly.
Perfect. Who else? Mark?
Yeah, so great presentation. I agree that I would reverse, like I was asking myself, what is Parachute Coffee until you got to it? So I would start with that and your differentiator. I'm also curious to know, and I know you're going to answer us all eventually, but it seems that the single-serve market is exploding with the stats that I've pulled up, and maybe that's not a hipster thing, trading convenience for trading quality for convenience. But I think it's kind of hard to ignore that market, and I don't know if you've considered the likes of a capsule or a pod, or if it's got to be fresh ground and nothing but. But I'd be curious to know about that because you might be leaving money on the table there for convenience sake.
Perfect. No, that's a very good point. Gentlemen, you guys can use the mic there. Just make sure the button's on for the questions. And who has questions from the crowd? Hands up. You have a mic, so you can probably push the button, see if it works.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yep,
You're
that's
in.
good. So my question is, I'd be interested to know, there's a beautiful presentation, but how much does it cost for a bag of coffee, like the size that you're doing there? And for us being investors, what's the profit margin?
So we started at a price of $24 per bag, including shipping. And then we did a lot of research, and we realized that our product, the similar product at the retail store, sold for $17 to $19. It's not the same product. We think our product is way better. Number one, because of the quality, and number two, and the most important thing for us is the freshness. It's 1 day fresh. So our pricing now is $17 and $18. So we have two products that we sell, a limited edition which changes every month. So that's kind of for the Explorer. That goes for $18, including shipping. And our two other products, they sell for $17. And the value proposition there is the product is better, the quality is better, the freshness is better, and it's at a competitive pricing point. It's not too cheap and it's not too expensive. The profit margin right now, the gross profit margin is 30%, but we think that we can improve that way better. With economies of scale, and as we grow and optimize more on the operational side of things, we believe we can even grow more in gross margins.
Questions?
Hey, great presentation. Just a question on the retention rate. So for how long do your customers stay retained, and like what's the average time frame before they cancel the subscription plan?
So the average lifetime value is $648. That's 1 year of 2 bags per month. So with that lifetime value being a year, there is actually even more room for improvement that we can find. We've actually developed a dashboard, as we explained in this presentation, which will allow the user to have full control over their subscription. What we were finding with the current dashboard, which is still live on the site, which we're taking down as of the end of the month, the user was not able, it wasn't intuitive for them to actually control their subscriptions. So we anticipate a lift in that lifetime value with the launch of this new feature. Does that answer your question? It's $648, 2 bags a month.
So in subscription businesses, cancellation rates are a huge problem. And one data that I looked at was that in general, 3 months is the duration that customers stay subscribed. So my question was, what's the average time for which customers remain subscribed?
And it would be 12 months. 12 months, yeah. So the lifetime value of 12 months of 2 bags per month is $648. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Back corner, Frank.
Hi, I love what you're doing. I love coffee. I drink it all the time. But because I'm disabled, I can't make coffee. All I do is I boil water and I add instant coffee all the time. Instant coffee, Nescafe, instant espresso. If you guys, I know you're going for the hipster crowd, but the disabled community is growing by leaps and bounds. The elderly community is growing by leaps and bounds. If you would actually consider making a hipster brand of instant coffee, instant espresso, maybe even instant tea, nobody does that. You'll be ahead of the curve. Have you given any thought to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we are building this as a brand, And for us, we believe that our brand can be extended into a lot of things. So currently we're targeting the coffee market, the home coffee market. One of the ideas that we wanted to explore is selling ready-made drinks. So something like a cold brew or a freshly made like drip coffee. So that's something that we are exploring. We're just taking it one step at a time, and we think that that's one of our next steps, potentially.
Okay, last question.
How about, hi guys. Right here. How about, now that it's legal, cannabis-infused coffee?
So we've actually given that a tremendous amount of thought. CBD especially. Unfortunately, in Canada, the regulatory restrictions against CBD, specifically in coffee, are prohibitive. In fact, it's so prohibitive that the only way that you can add CBD to coffee is that if the caffeine level in the coffee is so low that it's actually decaf. So for that reason, we've put the brakes on that initiative, but there is enormous appetite for CBD, at least that's sort of the writing on the wall. We're still keeping our eye on it. But the actual execution of the CBD product, whether it's in a ready-to-drink format, whether it's in ground, whether it's in any other type of format, we need to make sure that we nail the right format and nail the strategy behind it. As Yahya said, this brand has a lot of legs. We can explore many different channels. We can explore many different executions of this brand. And I think THC and CBD would be one of them. And Angela, I just wanted to quickly answer your question, if I may, JP. So when it comes to the exit opportunity, the obvious example that we point to is Tonks. Tonks being out of California, they exited to Nestle in 2017. They exited into Blue Bottle in 2017. Blue Bottle exited into Nestle in 2018 for $735 million. So we know that was a brand exit. It's an obvious effort by the major CPGs to catch up on years of neglect in their R&D. They snap up hipster brands to build out their portfolio and enter into different channels. And our distribution strategy as a direct-to-consumer brand actually gives us advantages. For example, any of the large macro roasters, La Colombe, Blue Bottle, Stumptown, any of the big ones south of the border that are actually having issues in penetrating the Canadian market, it's an easy acquisition. Any of the large macro roasters in Canada that are interested in snapping up a hipster coffee brand like ours, it's an obvious story. And then of course all the other big CPGs, like Campbell's, Kraft Heinz, Tassimo, Keurig Green Mountain. Those are all potential exits for us. And I don't know if you want to add to that, Yahya. Yeah. And the other question was capsules. So capsules, again, brand has legs. We can explore. It's a bit of a departure from our brand promise, of course, with freshness being the primary driver of the brand. Once our brand matures to a level where we can actually start exploring other formats, we will, of course, do that. Again, this is a brand play. That's where the exit opportunity is. That's where all of our equity is. Yeah, I had an answer for Angelo, but I can't remember what the question was. Okay.
Well, you can grab that
Oh,
one.
the instruments, the investment instruments, right. Convertible notes and subscription agreements, both options are on the table. We've had one investor on a convertible that has actually converted. Everyone else has invested on subscription agreements, but both options are certainly on the table for anyone that's interested.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Minute Box. Let's hear it for Minute Box. Here he comes, Sean. Let's hear it for him. Yeah, big round. Let's go. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. want to stand? Use this mic?
Congratulations. I love your startup, and I want to invest $1 million. But before I hand you the check, I just need to see your corporate minute book. What? You don't know where it is? You think your lawyer has it, and it's probably out of date? Well, unfortunately, until I see your bylaws, your share certificates, and your articles of incorporation, there's no money for anyone. Hello, my name is Sean Bernstein, and I'm a co-founder of MinuteBox Inc. As a former corporate lawyer, I can tell you that Oscar-worthy scene that just played out happens more often than you think. A minute book is a collection of simple but necessary company records, most of the time stored in physical binders sitting on law firm shelves. They're expensive to store and tedious to update. Using high-speed portable scanners, MinuteBox transforms physical minute books into digital data, enabling the viewing, sharing, editing, and updating of corporate minute book documents seamlessly on our custom-built, cloud-based platform. Remember, for a law firm, time is money, and wasted time means lost dollars. We've taken a process that used to take hours to update a minute book and shrunk it down to simply a few minutes, saving law firms hundreds of thousands in terms of internal costs, and allowing lawyers and legal professionals the opportunity to focus on far more value-added client services. We're already working with over 10 law firms in Ontario and Quebec, as well as one of the world's largest accounting firms and global mining companies. But minute books are not just a Canadian problem. Last year in Delaware, more companies were incorporated than the rest of Canada in the last half-decade. A single trust company in the Cayman Islands could have anywhere from 50 to 150,000 minute books already stored on their system. We've already raised nearly $500,000 in pre-seed funding, with a little bit of room left to bring on the right partners who are interested in helping us tackle this problem, which amounts to a $7 to $10 billion global industry.
And your name is?
Sorry?
And your name is?
And so the next time you're thinking, where's my minute book, think MinuteBox. My name is Sean Bernstein, and I'm a representative of MinuteBox here.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sean. Very good timing, too. Perfect. So we'll take 2 comments, and then we'll move on. So 2 comments. Who would like to throw in a couple of comments? All right, Jess?
Hey, Sean, how are you doing today? Yes. Nice to see you. Love to see the evolution of the company. I know that was a really short pitch. Would love to know a little bit more about the instrument that we can invest in, like Angela said, and also, I always like being teased as an angel investor, so what's my carrot? Where's the exit? Where's the next stage? So just when you have, say, 4 minutes to talk, that would be a great thing to add in. Thank you.
Perfect. One last comment, Paul?
So we work with entrepreneurs on a daily basis. They come in, they look for advice, they look for support. We help them set up corporations. I'd love to learn a little bit more about why you're dealing exclusively, from what I've heard so far, with the law firms and not with the individual entrepreneurs.
Perfect. That sounds promising. So thank you. Let's hear one more time for MinuteBox. Thank you. New vote. Let's hear it for them. New vote.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for having me out here. Thanks very much, Jeffrey, as well. Okay, let's get right into it. I'm anticipating quite a bit of questions, so I'm going to try to go through this quick. What is NuVote? We are the hybrid mobile voting system, and here's the problem that we're handling. Why can't we vote online? So in Toronto, you guys can't vote online, but in the municipalities surrounding Toronto and the rest of the province of Ontario, everyone else can. It's expected to grow to roughly 400 municipalities by 2022. The 3 primary concerns with online voting in the academic and research community are vote data security. I personally know the gentleman who banned online voting in Toronto, and he will tell you himself, he is a cryptographer out of Western University. You cannot, under any uncertain circumstances, store vote data on a server in digital format, not with blockchain or what other, perhaps, a hypothetical technology will exist at some point in time, but as of this date, you cannot do it. Identity verification. The PIN codes that the rest of the municipalities are using with the other vendors are being challenged in court right now because mailing your PIN code is about as secure as mailing your debit card and PIN code to your house and expecting nobody to grab it. And the verifiability and auditability of an election, you cannot audit source code. Well, you can, but like realistically, no one's going to do that. And you have no idea what's going to happen when you submit that vote online. These three primary concerns are the reason why you cannot vote online. When things go wrong, these are all recent headlines, by the way. You get headlines like this, like this, like this, and like this. These are all from the established vendors in the industry right now. And again, their issues are why you can't vote online in anything higher than a municipal election. The solution, well, I'll let our colleagues down in the US actually explain a bit better. They are now legislating it 100% that you have to store votes on a vote record. The paper record for every voter, it's time to contract. That is from the CEO of ES&S, the largest election service provider in North America. H.R. 1 is the bill that was passed on March 8th in Congress to protect the paper record of the vote. It is now fully legislated, and you cannot have online voting in the US, except for us. So we are the hybrid mobile voting system. We've been working on this project for going on 4 years now. And what we provide is mobile access. We strictly keep it on a mobile phone. There's no web page involved. We do human-based verification with, augmented by AI services and facial recognition technology. And the most important feature is we keep the paper ballot. So how do we do that? Actually, I'll get to that in a second. We have a demo video. But how our system works, we are a small startup, and getting this methodology into the market was a challenge, obviously, because online voting is in of itself a contentious issue. Our service is based on 4 principles. We have the pre-verification. We use ID just as any other election service provider uses. We back that with human verification, and that's important because that is the only method, and this has been approved by Elections Canada at the national level as the only one that would be sufficient in administering a national level election. It needs to be, at some point in the channel, it needs to be identified by a person. Our vote submission is on the application, and then we quite literally print off a remote piece of paper in a very high secure constructed remote printing device right now. What we decided to do is offer this service as a tool to the other online voting companies and election service providers, meaning we do not store any data. That's perfectly clear. Like, we have no data at rest policy. There is nothing on our servers other than a signaling mechanism that connects all the endpoints together. We do not store any necessary databases other than what's needed, and we augment the voter management systems, such as with DataFix out of Toronto, or the election management systems, such as IntelliVote, ES&S, etc., to tabulate electronically the vote. Here is, let's see if it plays automatically. Oh, it didn't do that. It's supposed to play automatically. Perfect, thank you very much, Jeff. This is a very rough example of how the system works, and you're seeing this operate in real time directly off the application. That's it. What you just saw, there was no data stored anywhere. The vote was handled from the application, deposited onto the paper record, and then expunged from the system at the completion of the vote, which is not shown here. The vote ballot that you're seeing is standardized in the US and Canada, and it's probably a ballot that you're more familiar with. You voted in the provincial election or anywhere in the US. The QR code that you're seeing right there as well is basically housing metadata. There's also a GUID right there. I guess I should be pointing at the other thing. That houses just the metadata and record of the vote. The big differentiator we have in addition to the paper record is the fact that we were able to patent this. So as I was building this technology out, we realized that every single other company automated this process or was hoping that encryption was going to be some widespread solution that was going to solve this major issue. We didn't think so. So the patents that we hold, we have 3 provisional patents in the US right now, and we decided to leverage those patents and partner with these other major channel providers because we're a small startup. We didn't want to have to take $30 million and have to go to market with this. Keep it lean, keep it focused, and hit the milestones we set out for ourselves. To this date, we are working on 3 partnerships right now. We actually just closed the second one about 4 hours ago now, and we are reaching out. We've spoken to the largest online voting company in the world. Because of those headlines that you saw before, they have not, to this date, 20 years in the industry, been able to penetrate the market at anything higher than private voting for shareholders or municipal voting in Ontario. Switzerland, the headline that you saw there, July 3rd, indefinitely pulled their proof of concept. They will not be doing it. That was a $25 million endeavor with the largest company, Cyto. Their source code was vulnerable. They could not do it. The researchers came down on them, found the vulnerability, exposed it in the media, and that was that. Our forecast right now, we have a blue sky and a conservative projection. So of course, we're online voting, we're election-based, and our service is explicitly focused on the governmental elections. So we have a price fit of about $1.25 per voter. That fits on to the mailings that they send out for the PIN codes. We just essentially swap that price out for us. Blue skies, $27 million for 2022. RFPs issued in 2021. Our conservative projections are $4.8 million. Our competitive advantage, we're the first to market with this technology. We have two solutions opportunities. I have essentially what a KYC verification system that we can augment out, or the 3 patents pending for this field. Our outstanding team, 4 key members. Our senior architect is formerly from BlackBerry and RDM, and Jeffery and Devrient. Experience with enterprise-level sales from Richard Turton, formerly at Platespin, Novell, and NetIQ. And our advisors are made up of former executives from government relations and regulatory affairs from IBM, former CEOs of Platespin, other cybersecurity directors, and a staff software engineer from Google and Oracle. What we're asking for right now, we're doing about $1 million in our seed round. We have a hard commit of about $500,000. We're looking at about, we're seeking $500,000 additional dollars in a 13.82% equity structure right now. Exit structure is acquisition. We anticipate that we are going to grow the company to a mature level and then most likely be bought up by one of the larger IT service or election service providers in globally. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That was good. Who wants to jump in? Paul.
So having been a politician, having gone through a recount situation, great presentation. I actually hated internet voting. This is the first one that I think seems like a viable option from my perspective. I'd love to know a little bit more how you can verify that what somebody's seeing being printed is actually what's being printed. Do they get a hard copy that they can hold on to? Things like that. Because that security level, I think, is still an important feature that you're seeing something on your screen, but I think people still want something tangible that they can hold.
No. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Also, being a technologist rather than an angel or an investor or anything like that, I also have concerns about, I'd like to know more about the biometrics authentication that you use, because I can, for example, fool my phone with a picture of my wife on her phone and it thinks it's her. Some have better 3D depth sensing, but it can be fooled. So I'd love to know, we can take that later upstairs, but I'd like to know how you authenticate people.
So Mark, you've been spending a lot of money on the Amazon using your wife's card?
Exactly. Yeah.
Anybody else with comments? Last one.
I thought it was a great presentation, so you did a great job. I'd like to get more sense, though, on the revenue model that you talked about, the $1.25 per voter. What landed you into that price structure, and what sort of market analysis have you done that would say, yeah, this is the sweet spot that municipalities would pay for? Because as a voter, I'm not paying $1.25 to vote, right? I'd rather be paid $1.25 to vote. So the exact opposite. So a little bit more detail on the revenue model and how you've gained traction and acceptance with that model.
Perfect. Thanks, Angela. Okay, questions in the crowd. I'll give you that. Hands up. Oh, you got a mic? Go ahead.
Great presentation. My question is, how many governments, businesses, because I'm sure this could be used for businesses as well, getting feedback from users and stuff like that. How many companies are in the hopper right now, other than one, Blue Sky or whatever, but how many governments have you spoken to that are further down the path?
To date, we actually just debuted the system on June 4th at the AMCTO conference in Ontario. We were a sponsor for the event. We have 10 direct sales opportunities right now when we're working with the municipalities to develop a comprehensive solution. But we're more than likely going to be partnering with the adjacent services in Televote or Dominion, et cetera. For private industry, actually, funny enough, we went that path and we tried to see what our market fit would be for that. Our security is the security threshold that we fall into is too high for student unions or private shareholder meetings. There's a select number of unions or organizations that do have a paper record to reconcile later on, but realistically, this technology was quite literally developed by the academic, like I based it off the academic research to position online voting at the national level election. That's why we have a strict no data policy. We have been subject of attacks. We will be subject of attacks. So our system, the private sector, they're happy with email voting. They just don't really care. So for something like us where there is a paper record to reconcile later on, we just don't have a good market fit. So we're aiming for the top on this one, to be honest with you.
Okay, next question.
Hey, so my name is Alex and I'm a product researcher, and part of where my question is coming from, obviously you've worked on the lack of data storage to address concerns and fears, but a major question when you're designing interfaces like this is social proof and building that kind of perception of trust. I'm just curious, since I'm sure not a lot of average people know about your company, how you're working towards that kind of concept of getting both parties to have confidence in you as a business.
Yeah, for sure. We flew under the radar purposefully. Like I said, the very first time I ever went public with any information about this, we were attacked all night long. Our servers were attacked. Our domain was tried to get broken into. We've worked with organizations that work in the Ukraine, Libya. We submitted a proposal last year for Libya. We are going to be a hard target, which is why we developed the system to explicitly be a no data. We want to keep everything as. In fact, to be perfectly honest, if you go to our website, the team kind of feels uncomfortable about being publicly listed. Now, yet they're on LinkedIn, but go figure. How we're going to, I guess, create the social brand awareness. We're going to successfully complete small pilots and proof of concepts over the next year in 2020, working with our partners and building this thing out. We are very public in the academic and cybersecurity field in online voting. We submitted papers at the last eVote ID conference, and we were working with that side of it. But yeah, like we're not a e-commerce company. We don't have the ability to just like deploy. I wish we did. It would make my job so much easier. But what I think the best way to get the brand awareness or successful brand awareness is successfully completing the pilots that we're going to be going and doing in 2020, 21, and 22, and making voting as accessible and easy as we can possibly make it. And then hopefully the municipalities or the other politicians or whatever side of the field they're on will come around. In addition, actually, to address the political side, we've actually reached out to the parties because that is an organization that would benefit explicitly from the service that we provide. And hopefully we get some sort of recognition or public, I guess, some relationship building with that side of the fence and see what happens. Thank you.
Very good. One last question.
So you are not storing data at rest, but data is getting transferred in transit, right? So how are you protecting data in transit? And secondly, like if governments are approving your product, then you need to adhere to certain security standards, encryption standards. So are there any standards that this product is getting approved to?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going after the standards right now. So right now, as what Alex would call, or the researchers would call, right now in Ontario, it's the wild, wild west. There are no standards. We're actually one of the participating vendors for these standards and principles that are getting pushed currently right now in the municipalities and to the provinces and to Elections Canada as well, to basically rein in the industry, both in the US, Canada, and globally. We're talking about general ones like SOC 2, NIST, ISO 27001, Privacy by Design by Dr. Ann Kavukian. We are fully on board with those things because we are probably the most data adverse company on the internet. We don't want anything to do with it. So we have no problem like going forward and building from the foundation up whatever SOC 2 would or SOC 2 compliance would address, even the NIST standards. There's one other one too that's more pertinent to the US, but I don't have the name of it. Sorry, the first part of your question eludes me. What was it? Sorry? Oh, sorry, yeah. So data in transit versus data at rest. That's exactly it. We keep the data at rest running through a completely end-to-end encrypted channel, almost to the same way that you would, WhatsApp uses. In fact, the original protocol that we did use was based on the ZRTP protocol that was the predecessor to Signal, which was the predecessor, or which was absorbed by WhatsApp and Facebook and Microsoft, etc. Basically, we don't even want to see what happens in that channel. So whatever the intention that gets transferred from the application to the paper ballot record is, as it happens, we don't even want to see that. And like this methodology was built in because even for the government, you don't want the government knowing who you voted for. So we basically built a channel, like tunnel, if you will, that allows you to make an intention, send it over the network, get deposited, and then all data, everything that was referential data is expunged completely from the network. We don't even store it. We don't. There's compartments of the server that don't even have databases attached to them. Meaning, if you lose a connection, for example, you have to go back in and sign back in and go through the whole process again. But that's again intentional because we're talking about elections. It should be a little bit more difficult than just buying something online. It has to be, for it to pass those severe thresholds to get at the national, state, or federal level, it has to be a little bit cumbersome. It just has to be. And that's why we have this hardware component. It's why we verify with human arbiters as an element to there. This is a very, very unique system. Like voting in itself is a unique system. It's part of our structure of society. We believe that I guess the competitors, their automated processes, the theoretically it sounds good, send votes over a network, make everyone super convenient to vote, but in practice it doesn't work. It has to be anonymous. Like you mentioned, the data in transit, you have to send the data somewhere. You have to notify the data that it's going somewhere. We've just provided a system that allows you and that endpoint to be the only people who know this. In fact, if you're familiar with the Tor relay or something like that, it's kind of based on those principles where anybody monitoring the network, we don't see it. All we care about right now is getting it to that endpoint successfully, and then that's it. Just like you would do if you walk into a polling location, slip the ballot into the box and hope that it gets counted accurately, kind of thing. We do count accurately, for the record. But, yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks, man. Sounds like a very innovative way to start getting voting and getting more people out to the polls. Smart tones.
I'm right at 2 minutes or 30 seconds before I'll let you know. Just from here. You good?
Okay. Perfect. Are there any fellow Raptors fans here? All right, thank you. My name is Daryl Hemingway, founder and CEO at Smart Tones Media, and we are connecting fans to the game, allowing them to participate for the very first time. Anybody predict this shot going in? Or the final score of the last game? We had thousands of fans playing along live with us in stadium and at home. 5 of them correctly predicted the final score of the last game and won great prizes and bragging rights. Smart Tones Media combines our fan engagement platform with the sports loyalty program, leveraging the lean-in moments like this one, where fans are highly engaged to deliver brand messages and ROI for that spend. We use proprietary technology for audio IoT, for chatbot, and for blockchain, and fans can play on their phones through chat or through apps. Our paradigm shift that's happening now is in twofold. One is sports fans have been loyal for a long time but never been rewarded. Any Leafs fans here? Also, sponsorship has been limited due to the cost to very large brands. But now, for small businesses in Toronto, they're able to buy a predictive moment in the power play on Saturday's game, for example, delivering their message directly to the fans and getting the data response immediately in real time. So the numbers show our success in doing this. Our fan base is growing at 20% per week. We have over 30% referral rate. And we have been showing results that are 18 times greater than Facebook's engagement rate and 83 times higher click-through rate than Google. Our unit economics are strong as well. Our cost of acquisition of a user is less than $2, and our annual value of that user is over $100. So we are expanding this fall to the 5 major sports across North America, and we are raising an equity round of financing, and our likely exit is a purchase by someone like our investor, Comcast, NBC Universal. So I'll be here afterward to speak to you, and come up and see me and learn how to get in the game.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That was good. No, we did that. Who wants to jump in as my phone is ringing? Jess, jump.
Hey, Daryl, lovely to see you again. How are you doing? Good. It was a great presentation for such a short moment, but I think if I hadn't had the context of seeing you once or twice before, I might not have been able, without slides, to keep up. So a visual of what was going on, maybe just a quick snapshot, 1 or 2 slides, just to give people an idea, breadcrumbs to follow along, because you had a lot of great information in there. And having seen you before, I have great context. Congratulations on the growth, but I think others might need just a little bit more to follow along.
Okay, thank you. One other?
Hi, I'll go. I think that's probably a good point, because I was like sitting here trying to imagine what the screens looked like and how do I play the game, and as a fan, like how would I get to engage? So I think that's a very good piece of feedback. And then just knowing a little bit more about your revenue. So you talked about advertisers that you can use, small businesses all the way up to large businesses could engage. I guess just knowing a little bit more about, is that the only revenue stream? Is there potential for in-app kind of purchases by fans for certain things or being rewarded? So a little bit more on that side would have been helpful too.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right, big applause. Yeah, it was good. Wavy.
One slide.
You're good.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Sean, and I'm the co-founder of Wavy. I want you to picture this. You wake up on Saturday, and you're trying to figure out what to do. For most millennials, that would involve looking through blog posts, checking social media, and doing lots of Google searches. All of a sudden, you have 45 tabs open and still not a clue of what to do. This process is frustrating, and it's also not that trustworthy. People are well aware that blogs can be sponsored, reviews can be fake, and that search engines aren't truly ranking in their favor. This is the exact pain point that we're solving with Wavy, an app that helps you find local activities based on your personal preferences and criteria in the moment. Our mission is to help people feel the joy and adventure of travel in their own cities and the surrounding area, and we're doing that in a really special way. We curate everything from real local experts like chefs, adventure bloggers, and photographers so that we can give a really authentic recommendation. We're also focused on driving action. Instead of accessing an endless list of things to do, Wavy gives you a curated selection of activities that are best matched to what you're looking for in the moment. We just finished our private beta program where we drove over 1,500 signups and had over 400 people giving us feedback on our features and functionality so far. We're also currently raising pre-seed funding, $150,000 on a convertible note, and have 85% committed, so we're looking for one more investor to join us at this time. With that, we'll be able to build our team out on the engineering and marketing side of things, as well as fuel our public launch here in Toronto, where there are over 1.6 million millennials who value experiences over things. In the next year, we'll be testing and evaluating a freemium model and affiliate marketing as our 2 revenue streams, and are confident that we'll be able to capture 5% of the local market. I want to thank you for having me here tonight, and if you're interested, I'd love to chat with you afterwards. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Who wants in? Angelo?
Being the millennial on this panel here, I like what your business is focusing on. I have seen similar things, but haven't seen them really succeed. So I think, with such a short period of time, you really couldn't get into a lot of those details. But definitely would love to learn more about that aspect of your business model. and how you're going to capture it. I agree totally with your main concept. Millennials are into experiences, and how do you best curate that ideal experience for the targeted millennial? Just like to learn more about that.
Who wants it? Jess?
Sure. Thank you very much for the presentation, Sean. That was really interesting. I know this is a short period of time. What I always love as an investor is tell me where you're going long term, tell me where the exit is. Is it acquisition, what is it, and stuff like that. And I realize that's a quantum leap from where you are right now, but I just love to know that you thought about it and sort of tease me where the future is. Thanks. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, that's brilliant. Very good. I like that. Well, let's give her a hand. Thank you very much. That was great. Okay, next up, we're going to jump into the panel. So we're going to have Angelo, Jess, and Vinay come up to the front, please. Sorry, we'll grab those there. Sorry, give me 1 sec. Okay, awesome. Welcome everybody to the panel on investing. So we tend to have this panel at each of our events, and the reason being that they seem to be very informative, and people really do get a lot out of being able to speak with angel investors, and being that you both, all three of you are angel investors and have run companies and run your own companies. Maybe we'll start off by, I guess the easiest question to ask is, and I'll throw this one at you first, Jess, when you guys have been looking at investments and bringing companies into the angel network, what are the factors that you look for so that everybody in the room can kind of start to think about long term? What are the major key things that I need to think about?
Thanks, JP. One of the things that we generally look for is post-concept and post-revenue. But what I really would recommend to startups is to start building the relationship before you're ready to enter the pitching cycle. And the reason I say that is if you're at an event like this and you get to meet an angel investor, they can provide mentorship, they can provide introductions, but it's also a champion when you are going through the screening process with different angel groups. So angel groups often have a multi-stage screening process. York Angels, which was where I formerly was, had a sort of a 3-stage one, an online application, an in-person, or a telephone call, and then an in-person review with the screening committee before you pitched. The organization I'm with now, the 3 angel groups, it goes through a business analyst who works with you closely, and then a screening committee. But either way, there's multiple touch points, and the more champions that you have along the way and the warm introductions can do a lot to further your moving through the process. And great OPN and different pitch it events where you get to practice, you get to meet people, and you get feedback from people is a great way, because your first pitch is not always the best pitch, and if you can continue to evolve it with feedback, I think that's a great opportunity.
Angelo, on your side, being on the screening committee, you on multiple ones, do you find that when the companies get to you that they're lacking certain details and you really need to jump in and help them out a little bit, or do you introduce them to people that can help them to get them back into the stage where you're able to screen them?
Yes. I think all of those things. It's really important for companies to, as Jess mentioned, practice. I like to see companies that really understand and have a very comfortable flow in identifying their business opportunity and how they can bring value not only to the customers that they serve, but also to the investors that they're seeking money from. So those things are really key elements. But I also think that entrepreneurs have to really be very flexible, depending on the approach from a screening point of view. For example, at York Angels, it's very interactive. Unlike what all of you had an opportunity today, whether it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and you go through, essentially, Michael, you would say, "Hi, my name is Michael," and we would interject and say, "Why?" It shows how you're able to adapt to various situations. And when you think about it, landing that first sale is not necessarily an easy task. And so as soon as you become used to that, the greater your chances of success, not only in investment, but also in the business side.
And you bring up a great point, and this is probably where Vinay can jump in. When the keynote speak was supposed to happen at 7:10 and it happened at 6:13 or whatever the time was, what was going through your mind and how did you adjust to adapt to the environment? Because Angelo has said these types of shifts in what you do can throw you off, but also show you how well you work under duress or stress at the same time.
You just go with the flow, Jeff. You just go with the flow.
Well, you did a great job. And to ask the same question, when you were investing in the past, how did you look at getting in with these companies? What were you looking for that kind of made a company stand out for you?
I start with management. You can have the best idea, but you look at management and how disciplined they are, what kind of business plan they have, and also look at how well do they know their numbers, and what's all angel investee companies do focus heavily on the exit, but sometimes that exit takes a very long time to get there. So understand your cash burn and how are you going to mitigate risk to reduce that cash burn, and what other opportunities or solutions lay in terms of risk mitigation. And I also like to see management have their skin in the game, not just sweat equity, but I want to see money on the table. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in absolute terms a massive amount, but just to know that it's a significant amount for that particular individual, and he's going to work tirelessly to mitigate risk and take the company where it has to go.
Could I follow on that as well? I love the skin in the game part. That's extremely important for the entrepreneur to have skin in the game. But what we also like to see often as angels is that you've done a friends and family round or a friends, family, and fool round, although I don't particularly love that term. But that shows that you've been brave enough to ask the people closest to you. It's easy to ask strangers to some degree because you don't exactly owe them anything. But your friends and your family, there's an element you will always have to see them at Christmas dinner or summer vacation or whatever it may be. And so seeing that round, and I've had people come up to me and say, but I don't come from an uber rich family. I don't come from a big network. And to me, it's not necessarily the dollar value that's been raised. It's the fact that you have multiple people in your circle that have put in whatever is valuable to them, an amount that is valuable to them, into your organization because they believe in you. They may not be the savviest investors, but they believe in you, your work ethic, and that you're going to follow it through. And that's a really important thing to see. That gives us a comfort that you've been able to convince the people closest to you, and that you also believe in believe in what you're doing enough that you will be able to follow through. So again, it's another form of skin in the game.
So one thing, and Angelo, you touched on this earlier, was when you are looking for a mentor or you want a mentee to an angel investor, how do you go through the dating process, if you will, to get that angel who's probably busy looking at a million deals? How do you get them interested in what you're doing? Is it an elevator pitch? Is it get them to see you a bunch of times? Is it because you pitched everywhere? What are those factors that kind of get you interested in that business enough, or that person, that you'll take them under your wing and start helping them out?
Well, I really look at what commitment does the entrepreneur have in their particular vision. What homework have they done to really understand that there is an opportunity here? And if they have that passion, that drive, and willing to meet at god-awful hours, those are the elements that I see I want to spend a lot more time. And some of the one entrepreneur who is still very early stage, we came to an agreement. We get together every month. We spend an hour and a half together. Show me your progress. What keeps you up at night? How are you going to deal with it? And what strategies do you have? I think numbers are really, really important. But when I look at opportunities, I see I'm less concerned with the numbers per se, because as soon as I give you projections of where I'm going to be in 3 years' time. They're almost out of date. What I really want to know is what assumptions have you made to be able to come up with those numbers? Because the actual number may change depending on market conditions, but the assumptions probably will be fairly consistent regardless of how the marketplace is. So, do they have a good understanding of that marketplace? Do they have a revenue model that seems to make sense? And are they committed to endure my 1 hour a week or whatever it is?
If I could do a follow-on on that, people like to work with people that they like, which means building a relationship. So whether it's finding a mentor or whether it's finding an investor, the way you conduct yourself makes a huge difference. Warm introductions are wonderful if you can get them, but there's some things that are just absolute turnoffs within the sort of the mentoring community and the investing community. If you puke everything out in the first, hi, I want to be your friend on LinkedIn, I would like to connect with you, here's everything you need to know about my business, and I want you to invest, and I want you to be my mentor, and that we're going to be best friends. You haven't even had a first date. That's a lot to puke out right away. Following people to the bathroom after pitch competitions is also not a great way to do it. And people do this. It's like treat investors and treat mentors the way you would like to be treated and build a relationship of respect and communication. And just think about that. I know that there's sometimes you feel like there's limited opportunities to have access to people, but it's better to go in with a good, solid foot to build the relationship than in a way where you're sort of puking everything out and hoping for the best.
In addition to all these valid points, I mean, I do look at pre-screening done by networks such as OPN or Angel One. That's very important because there's so many great ideas out there, and there's only so much time in the day. So I do look for a pre-screening network solution.
No, that's all valid. So it sounds like in order to kind of make your way in the angel world, you might want to go to a few events. Maybe just say hi to Angelo, shake his hand, just introduce yourself, and maybe wait for the next event to get a little deeper with that conversation. So let them warm up to you as well. That way you're not being impactful. Noted about the bathroom piece. I'm going to try to take that one to heart. If I follow anybody there, it's only because I'm probably going to use the washroom tonight. I don't want anybody thinking I'm trying to question them. But very valid, and you're right. It does become hard sometimes because you're trying to find a slice of time, and that, like Jess, you're swamped. Everybody wants to talk to you because of the things that you do in the community. So I get that it's going to be tough. So I think there's got to be a simple approach to working with and getting that person interested. I think one thing that might also be of value is it doesn't have to be an angel investor to start off. It can be somebody that you respect, someone that fits into the realm of what you're looking to do. It could be an accountant. It could be a person in marketing. We don't always have to go to the source, because one of the great things of going to a vice president of marketing that you might know because of a friend or someone that introduced you, they might actually know an angel investor and they'll give you a warm welcome, and then you won't have to worry about trying to tackle this person to speak to, because you'll get a warm introduction once this other person's helped you. So always look at ways to get help, and don't be afraid to ask. It's always a good way to do it. So now we kind of jump into the next stages. When should I be going for funding, and what's the best way to do that? I think a lot of times people come up and they say, well, I'm really early stage, I don't have any revenue, but I need some money and I need it to survive. Can you help me? What do you do about that? And I'll throw that one at you, Angelo, to start off, because I'm sure you're faced with this quite often too.
JP and I have a fairly common mantra that we use quite a bit. And all of those, the feedback that we provided in the last question, practice, 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 pitch as much as you can. You need to also rein that in. I think a lot of times entrepreneurs are spending so much time chasing money instead of chasing customers. And I look at opportunities where entrepreneurs have chased a few customers, got feedback from those customers, generated some value from that engagement, and even if it means that they need to pivot and refine their business, that's all great, because every successful company will do probably 4 or 5 pivots before they actually hit this inflection point. So I think that I look for companies that have been able to touch that target marketplace, made some inroads, and acted on the feedback from the marketplace. All too many times, I see companies at very early stage trying to force their solution onto the marketplace without listening to the marketplace and adapting their solution to fit the market needs.
Well said. Well said. I think you're 100% on that, that you really need to get that MVP in the hands of your client. And if you don't have a client, find one, because it doesn't always work the way you think it does when you go into someone and say, hey, you've been working in coffee for 20 years. I got the better solution. Check this out. They're going to look at you and kind of think that there might be something crazy with you because I've been doing this for 20 years. But if you go in and you start working with them and sharing anecdotal information and learning about their process and how they do things, then they slot you in because they feel the need that they can help you. And really, people do want to help when you give them the chance. So are there other vehicles out there before angels that you can get investment from? Any recommendations on where they can go or what other avenues they can do if they're just looking for prototype money or some guidance, mentoring? Are you guys open to all of these things? Are you guys writing checks tonight? How is that working?
Well, there's a number of different ways. I mean, we always look for the product market fit and that validation. So before that, if you can look for non-dilutive funding, that's a great way. There are grants, there's different pitch competitions. It's that fine balance, because there's government grants, there's pitch competitions, so on. So it's finding that fine balance between investing in your company and investing in getting investment. So the customer is a great way. If you can find paid betas and paid pilot programs so that you're getting the product market fit and you're getting some money out of it, that's fantastic. But there's also a number of government programs that are very focused in different areas, different vehicles. And Angelo is great at the government programs. How's that for him?
Oh, wow. That's great stuff. So I spent 18 years with the National Research Council. So the Industrial Research Assistance Program, IRAP, funds on a shared basis R&D costs, labor costs. Definitely look at CRA at the end of the year to recoup some of your development costs through the SHRED program. Provincial programs like the Ontario Centres of Excellence. All of these things, my recommendation, the bulk of them are directed towards labor costs, although there is some latitude, especially with the SHRED program, on covering some of the materials and capital costs. All of those things are great, and if you're actually strategic, you can get upwards of close to 75% of your R&D costs covered by government. My philosophy is never leave a penny on the table if you don't have to, right? And the beauty is that you're not giving up equity in the meantime, but there are also certain reporting requirements that you have to adhere to. All government programs like to determine that they're providing strategic investments into companies, even though it may not be repayable in nature, but they have a specific return on investment, and usually it's economic benefit, which includes increased revenues, increased employment. So if you can present a strong case on those two fronts, then you have a pretty good shot at it.
Vinay, your thoughts?
Sure. Over and above that, you can have your R&D factored. You can have your receivables factored. If you have a purchase order, although that doesn't help you for typically conventional financing, it's very interesting to more aggressive angel investors and typically non-dilutive, where you could potentially get purchase order financing, especially if the angel understands your business very, very well. So those are some other programs. If you're training your staff, there's Koji funding. But But again, the challenge with government programs is they're just a moving target all the time. Even the SR&ED program, I mean, you know, it's the courts have it's heavily litigated in terms of what qualifies as technological uncertainty. So it's quite challenging, and I do advise people to look to outsource that, going after grants. There's companies out there that specialize in obtaining grant money on a contingency basis. So focus on your core competency, like Angelo referred to, like work on your business model and customers instead of chasing money, and try to outsource where you can on the especially the government grant side.
Perfect. I guess one last positive comment for everybody. If you guys want to say one thing that you think is going to help them, like one thing to keep in mind as a little reminder, each one of you kind of just throw something out there to help the start out, and yeah, we'll go from there.
It can be a challenging journey, but when you leverage networks and opportunities like this, you build your community, because not all of your family members are going to be entrepreneurs at heart, and it can be an up and down road. So having other entrepreneurs and other mentors who have been entrepreneurs in your journey. My first company, when I started, people said, oh, you know, you couldn't get a real job. I'm like, no, I chose to do this. I really did, but there was no ecosystem around it. So leverage the ecosystem, use the learning that you can get. There are so many free and nearly free events where you can build community, get a network, and also continue to learn and grow and develop. So there's great opportunities out there. The sky's the limit, and use what you have available. We're really lucky being based here in Toronto right now.
I have to say that I meet a lot of entrepreneurs, interact with a lot of startups, and I'm really impressed with the commitment that the entrepreneurs that I've had the pleasure of meeting with have. The one piece of advice that I would give is probably, it's anecdotal from my experience. I had my own startup located in Motorola, so a big building, doing exciting stuff in Markham, and I'd have people coming in to see me regularly, and they'd all tell me the same thing: wow, you're doing an amazing job. And after 2 hours of talking with some of these individuals, I would then say, you know, it's been fun. If you ever want to have a coffee, let's have a coffee, but in the future, don't waste my time. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Don't tell me what I'm doing right. I think I can figure the right part. It's what I'm doing wrong that I need to know. That's what will help me climb that next tier. So be open to feedback, even though if it feels like it's negative, it's a good exercise to counter it and demonstrate why you're on the right track. And if not, then jump on making those negatives into positives.
Yeah, it's lonely when you have your own business, and there's no one checking your backswing. You see, when you're a salary slave, there's at least somebody looking over your shoulder telling you what you're doing right and wrong and how to do things better, faster, cheaper. But when you're on your own, it's a lonely place. So having a mentor, and it doesn't have to be like someone particularly brilliant. Sometimes you just need to hear yourself speak, and someone to bounce ideas off, and just someone to talk to. You need that mentor, or that kind of, at a small scale, an advisory board, if you will. You really need someone to hold your feet to the fire even, and you know, so when you check in with that person, they pull out the notes from your last meeting. You said you would have brought your product to this particular stage by this particular time. How's it looking? Well, you're suddenly accountable. You feel like now I have somebody I'm accountable to. So having that level of accountability is crucial.
Thank you. That's some all around, those some great words of wisdom. I think the takeout for this is that find a mentor, find someone that supports you, and find someone that drives you. Because at the end of the day, in order for you to be more successful and drive your business, you need someone to help you push you along. So I think there's a lot of help in what we've talked about, and you got to reach out to everywhere you can to get that help, and you have to disseminate what you think is the best help that's going to help you move forward. Your gut will tell you the right ways, but you got to find somebody out there that's going to listen to what you have to say to help you grow your business. So let's give these guys a round of applause because that was amazing. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. All right, how many people out here do we have that are entrepreneurs starting new businesses? Everybody, I love it. Well, we have a little quick segment that we're going to jump into right now, which is the 30-second pitch. So if you thought 2 minutes was fast, the 30 seconds is just a little bit quicker. So if you guys are interested, make your way up. It's a good way to get some quick exposure, and you can share a little bit about your business. Don't be afraid. It's your elevator pitch, and we all need to know how to do an elevator pitch. Yeah, come on up, come on up, come on up. So the way it works is it's going to be your name, what your business is about, and then what you're looking to do. You kind of close it off. 30 seconds, and I'm going to stop you at 30 seconds. Cool? All right, all right. Let me tap timer on here.
Okay. Well, does he get 30 seconds and I get 30 seconds?
No, it's 30 seconds in total. You better be quick. You
I
better
might not
be
have
quick.
much to say.
All right, you're ready?
Hello, people. Some of you know me. My name is Ralph Idema, and I would like to introduce Diane DeVenji. Now, she is something very unusual, a recovering lawyer. Now her new field is educational reform.
Thank you. What do angel investors, entrepreneurs, lawyers, children, grandparents, and newcomers to Canada all have in common? They all need to learn, unlearn, and relearn every day of their life to succeed in the 21st century. The Learning Force's successful workshops are now ready to scale up. We are going to add video content for pre-workshop experiences. We are adding...
And your name is?
Diane DeVenji, The Learning Force.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I got to stand behind you this time. All right. So you ready? Yeah. All right.
Hey everyone, my name is Kimberly Simpson and I'm the founder of a company called Suit of Armor Inc. It's about changing the feminine narrative of women in auto, tech, and finance. It all started out when I decided to buy my first vehicle on my own. I won't continue the story in terms of how that turned out, but here we are with Suit of Armor Inc. So we'll be hosting workshops for women. They're mostly knowledge-based entertainment, as well as we'll be doing memberships and subscription boxes. Kimberly Simpson from the Suit of Armor Inc.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, my name is Ray Tang. I'm the CEO and founder of Optiful Cosmetics. What we do is we solve uneven eyelids. It's basically like Invisalign for your eyelids. We have revenue going on. We have patents, medical device award by U of T Faculty of Medicine. So next stage is mass production. And I'll be talking to some people on how to strategically lay that part out. That's all.
And your name is?
Ray Tang.
Thank you, Ray.
Can I start? Yeah. Hi, my name is Zach Steele, and I've launched a new employment portal, workjobs.ca. It was created to help bridge the employment shortage in the territories in northern Canada, which since the Yukon Gold Rush really have remained desolate. The portal is mainly focused on bridging international students with employers in the territories, having a series of job fairs and workshops, and actually preparing candidates for the job fairs as well.
And your name is?
My name is Zach Steele, workjobs.ca. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Who here in the room thinks we pay too much for data for our phones in Canada? Raise your hand. I think that's everyone here, but we no longer have to pay for smartphones or data as we've taken content to the level of your smartphone at the top of the device. So what I'm going to show you here is content playing. This pays for data and your smartphone. We make revenue from banking and ad agencies relationships. We tailor content to what you like: sports, cooking, art.
And your name is?
Douglas Mockery, Arrow.life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amol Gupta. We just actually I just recently launched a company called Sessions. Sessions with a Z.com, and basically it's a knowledge transfer app for peer-to-peer. So basically, if you go on an app, we just launched in an Apple store a couple months ago. We were recently at Collision. Basically, if you want to learn anything, you can find a mentor on the app and actually book them for their time. It's basically, we optimize everybody's time, where if you're a mentor, you can optimize.
And your name is?
Amal.
Amal, nice job. He's got the mentors. I like that. You're on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Philip. I'm a film director and producer, and I'm preparing a film called Severance Day, which is a hard-hitting office drama. And we just shot a teaser a couple weeks ago, which will be up and running soon. So you can check severanceday.com, subscribe to the mailing list, and see it when it's out, and also have a chance to win some prizes. Thank you.
Your name is?
Philip.
Thanks, Philip.
Thank you.
We should have made this 10 seconds. Wow. It's the biggest lineup we've ever had. I love it. All right, you're on.
Hi, I'm Artem, and this is Yash, and we're YU Ride, and we're here to improve the transportation at universities. We're a ride-sharing system for students, faculty, and staff, and we're here to make it safe, convenient, and fast for all students in a safe, sustainable, and an environmentally friendly way. Thank you.
And your name is?
Artem, and
thank you very much, guys.
So we'd like to solve the sustainability challenges that universities are facing and improve the commute experience of students through generating value of the unused seats that are in single occupancy vehicles traveling to and from university.
Perfect.
My name's Yash. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zul Manzi. I am a content producer and a stand-up comedian, but I'm not going to tell any jokes. So I run Z-Master Productions, which is original content told of African narratives such as cartoons, web series, and sketch comedy. All original stories written by me and also acted by me. And you can check out zmasterproductions.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdulkarim Manzi. I started my own tech business called AKMS Photography. So I'm a photographer based in Toronto, and I work capturing magical moments, weddings, events, everything in general, and personal type shoots. And I also work with various artists. So please check me out on Instagram at AKMS Photography, and that's about it.
And your name?
Abdulkarim Manzi.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Gagné. I'm founder and CEO of Fate at DI. We are creating a behavior biometric in order to protect as a two-step verification. And distinctly than the other two-step verification, we are not using any data, private, or any kind of personal information. We are 100% GDPR compliance, CCPI compliance. We are in partnership with IBM, and we are targeting to get really bigger. Really reasons we are open for getting any investor or angels.
And your name is?
Jonathan Gagné.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Kevin Reynolds, and I'm the founder and CEO of a company called The Dog Ate It. We're basically a cashless crowdfunding site that allows you to donate financially to learning institutions, nonprofits, cashlessly by watching videos that contain advertising. So we partner with corporate sponsors by selling them blocks of flat rate advertising in the form of cryptocurrency. Once the student body and the community views ads on our platform, they raise money for their institutions.
And your name is?
Kevin.
Kevin, thank you very much.
Hold hand. Can I grab your hand?
Oh, sorry, one sec. All right.
Thank you. Hi. This connected me to the world and disconnected me at the home with my family members. So I created this that creates 15 minutes of guided mindfulness practice, and it helps families to talk and share about their day, look into each other's eyes, and tell them how they feel about each other. My name is Dipti Swain from You and Me Ritual. It brings togetherness, peace, and joy to family.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My name is Diana Lucacci. I'm the founder of a company called True Impact. Since 2012, we've been providing neuromarketing research services to brands. We've been working with Fortune 500 companies. In the last 5 years, we've developed a software that we're looking to scale as a SaaS model globally.
Perfect. Your name is?
Diana from True Impact.
All right. Thank you, Diana.
Hi.
I guess. All right, you're
Hey,
on.
Are we ready?
Go.
Hey everyone, my name is Krista and this is Leandra. We are partners of Vitrina, which is a retail consulting group. The two of us really focus on medium-sized retailers looking to scale to multiple locations or grow in their current locations. We are here because the common theme tonight has been focus on your customers, and so we are here looking for mentors as well as clients if anybody's interested. So you can reach us at info@vitrinagroup.com.
And your names are?
Krista and Leandra.
Done. Thank you, Krista and Leandra.
Hi, everyone. So did you guys know that every second 2 million pounds of carbon is released into the atmosphere? We are on a mission to reverse this through everyday household products. They are eco-friendly and they are healthy products. 100 pounds of carbon is removed for every product that is sold. And my name is Karam, and we have a booth here upstairs. If you guys are interested, please take a look. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Clarence from Puff Advisor. So we're in the cannabis travel space. So imagine you're trying to plan a trip. What do you normally use? You use TripAdvisor. But what happens is that cannabis is actually banned on these platforms. So what we want to do is to be the marketing platform for cannabis travel and tourism. Important notes, we launched in May. We've had 16K visitors so far on our website, and we signed on our first travel company this month. So we're looking for Clarence from Puff Advisor.
Thank you, Clarence.
All right, so there's probably 100 people in this room, but more importantly, I can guarantee you there's at least one person in this room right now that can help catapult your career or your business or your idea to the next level. So Jelly Social is going to help you find that person and connect with them right now. And this is what we call gamified networking. So my name is Sanjay Kamba, and I'm here with Jelly Social.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, guys. My name is Gyanendra Khanna, founder and CEO of Quickly. First there was Bruce Lee, then there was Jet Li. Now it's time for Quickly. Quickly is karate for your mind. We've had 25,000 installs, 12,000 registered users, raised 100K earlier this year. We're just starting our new seed round, and we're looking for investors and mentors interested in education, esports, and mobile gaming. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ben Honer. Disruption, the software industry has been solving it for decades now, but small business doesn't have access to that information. So what we're doing is we're democratizing solving disruption, and we're bringing it to small business through management consulting and software products. My name is Ben Honer, and I'm from 2H Media. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jean Shi. I'm the founder of Coco Mint, and we are a fashion discovery application that aims to give female and male consumers basically access to their favorite brands, and also aiming to give bitcoins in cashbacks so that they can invest in cryptocurrencies while they pay for their products. Thank you. My name is Jean Shi.
Perfect. Thank you, Jean.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hugh Riley. I'm the founder of thatchannel.com, which is an internet TV station, and we've been doing it for, we've had over 10,000 people in over the years. What we've really learned to do is develop new business models for media in a market where media is unlimited and where the audience attention span is limited, particularly looking to partner with people in media who are struggling with business models.
And your name
especially the print media. My name is Hugh Riley, thatchannel.com, and we'll probably be upstairs afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Param Shankar. I'm a co-founder at Fientech. We built interactive hand washing signs to help provide instant feedback to users and also provide anonymous hand hygiene data. And we're currently targeting food industry and healthcare industry, trying to tackle the 4th leading cause of death across North America. Thank you. My name is Param Shankar.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Param.
Oh, right now I don't really have a company name, but I usually go out in the community and people come to me and look for jobs. Like I basically do work for other people, but then I use that work in order to get like into college and stuff like that. And I'm trying to look for investors to see if they can invest in me, to see if I can achieve my goals and stuff like that. But right now this is just in the process. I'm just brainstorming and trying to figure all this stuff out and see if it works out for the better. My name is Mario.
Mario, thank you very much, Mario.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alex Rice-Corey. I'm a psychologist, a researcher, and a founder of Conscientious Canadian Cannabis Consumers. It's not a working title. I'm very aware of them, second last person here, and that's on purpose. I'm looking at the uncertainty right now between regulation and government fear at how to monitor consumption and personal accountability and more healthy usage patterns. So I'm looking at a gap where the major companies are looking at personal journeying, which is a little bit unreliable, and how to do that from a physical and sensor-based solution. Very under the radar, not revealing too much. My name is Alex Rice-Corey.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, JP. My name is Christopher Tufford. I'm the founder and CEO of Green Apple. We're a cashless payment system for schools and an e-commerce marketplace for parents. We're going to disrupt an industry and change the world. I know people like to say that, but we're going to do it. My name is Christopher Tufford, Green Apple.
Christopher, thank you very much. I think we broke a record. That was the most 30-second pitches we've done probably all together in 1 year. Amazing. Thank you very much, guys. That was awesome. Big round. I'm glad everybody got up there. So we wanted to do, we have from Camp Tech. So this will be quick. I'm just going to pull this up a little bigger there. There we go. So Camp Tech runs in-person, hands-on digital skills workshops in downtown Toronto on topics like Google Analytics, digital marketing, social media, intro to podcasting, and more. They've also do private group training, and you can learn more about Camp Tech by going to the Camp Tech website. And today we are and have a whole gift card from Camp Tech, and we are going to present that to Wavy, to Sean. Yeah. It's a perfect fit. So thank you very much, and I'll walk this over because you're right there, and I don't want to forget. Awesome.
I love camp. This is exciting.
Perfect. All right. So we are now in the last few minutes of the event. I would like to implore all of you to make your way upstairs to talk with the startups. There are lots of startups there to chat with. There's also pizza, beer, wine. Man, it sounds like we're on campus and at City Hall. So thank you very much for coming out today. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to the advisory panel. And can all the startups that were in today's event please make their way to the front behind OPN, because we would like to take a picture, and that includes everybody in the advisory panel. Thank you very much and have a brilliant night.